En el vibrante corazón de Austin, donde la justicia y la comunidad entrelazan sus manos, emerge una voz. Les presentamos a Amanda Bonilla, directora de comunicaciones de Bonilla Law Firm, una firma comprometida en ser más que abogados, convirtiéndose en defensores de los desamparados y voz de los sin voz. Amanda no solo comunica, ella conecta, llevando información vital de seguridad en 2 idiomas a los tejanos centrales, pero su misión va más allá, extendiéndose con amor y protección hacia nuestra niñez a través del Center for Child Protection y abrazando causas que alimentan cuerpos y almas con manos de Cristo. Hoy, sumérgete con nosotros en Demente, mientras exploramos la mente y el corazón de quien hace de la comunicación un arte de impacto social. Bienvenida, Amanda Bonilla.
Hello, everybody. Mauricio García here once again in another episode of the Demente podcast. You know, we are committed to bring you people that have the moral authority to tell us, what they had to go through, how they overcame obstacles and challenges to get to where they are today. And not just to where they are today, but where they're going. So today we have a very special guest. I saw her perform at Latin Talks, series of talks we had across the country. I was very inspired by her talk and also excited because of the dynamism that she brought to the way that her style of presenting. So without further ado, let me welcome Amanda Bonilla. Amanda, ¿cómo estás?
Hi, muy bien, gracias. I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be here. And guess what? I heard a little rumor about you.
Oh, no. I hope it's good.
No, it's good. I heard that you are the Harry Potter of finance.
Well, that's what they say. I'll tell you a little story about that. So the first time I was ever in a camera, so there was this media. So I hired somebody to help me with my branding because I wanted to leverage social media. And this girl interviewed me, and she's like, "You're like the Harry Potter of finance." Honestly, I disliked the whole thing, right? Because in the world of money and business, like I didn't think it would go. But there's no way I can get rid of it now. Now I just have to embrace it as the Harry Potter of finance. But that's good. I'm very passionate about it, Amanda. I've been in this for 23 years now, so that's what I do. But this is about you.
I think it's incredible. I think it's a good way of branding yourself and marketing yourself. I mean, as the authority, and the wizard. And that's so important when you have a business, branding and marketing. So I love it. I think you need to keep it going.
Absolutely. Now, I have learned now to embrace it. I went through every of the cities we did talks, and that's how the founders introduced me as the Harry Potter of finance. So if they say, who am I to say that I'm not, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. I agree.
I know. Well, listen, this whole idea of the Mente podcast is I was always curious about what it took to really conquer the dreams, like what it took. I've seen a lot of very successful people say it's an 80-90% mindset. The rest of the stuff you can learn. Mindset. So that's why I named this thing the Mente. It's about what's in the mind of the people that really achieve success. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dive into your mind and learn about what you think, how you thought about this thing. But before I want to begin here. I don't have a set of questions or anything. This is going to be an organic conversation. But I am curious, when did you decide that you want to go in business? Like when did the entrepreneurial Amanda Bonilla was born?
From a young age. My parents they always said they supported me in anything. And I basically said, I want to be on TV, but I don't want to be a news anchor. I don't want to be an actress. I want to use my gift for something better. And I really want to help the community. And when my husband and I started a law firm, he's a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a creative type. And he's a creative type too. But when we got into this business, he's a 3rd generation attorney, but you have to understand that he comes from a line of attorneys. And when you start your own business, it's your own thing. So you have to be willing to take risks. Okay. That's the number one thing. I think Brad and I are complete risk takers in everything that we do. So you have to be willing to take that risk and take that first step and have the mindset of, yes, I can do this. Yes, this is going to happen for me. And I do believe in manifesting and writing things down and writing your goals down for the year. Every year we do that. And every year we pick, a word of the year. And I love to say that ours is legacy. And this year we've really been working on laying that foundation of legacy because we have 2 young daughters. We have a 10-year-old daughter, Catherine, and a 7-year-old daughter, Charlotte. And I really feel that they need to understand where mommy and daddy came from and that, things are just not handed to them, that we worked for these things. And when we become successful, we give back to the community because that is so important for them to understand that community is really everything. If you have a good community around you and you help those who need your help, you're going to succeed because you get what you give, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of golden nuggets right there and then. I mean, you're talking about having a vision. This whole word is strategically picked to drive the vision for the year.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally get it. I mean, I see even big companies, they pick a theme like the year, the conquer, right? Or whatever's growth or quantum growth or whatever that is that from big companies. They do these things that you're talking about.
Right.
For many, they may seem like silly things, right? At least before my mind started to evolve as I was trying to grow my business, my practice, I needed to adopt these things, writing things down, right? And and also not being afraid of the risk. It's like sometimes you've got to be completely exposed to risk to be able to get the big rewards. Otherwise, you can't do that. Now, obviously, I'm not here. I don't want people to go out there and just bet the entire farm on anything they want to do. But
right.
Right. But I have seen like what are the traits, what are those things that really successful people do? It's like most of them are always exposed to risk, but they believe in themselves so much, right? And they don't win all the time, but they seem to learn from every failure and they just keep going. So they take me to that sort of next question. Has it all been like a steady uphill sort of road for you and your husband?
Well, we have not ever been afraid of failure. Okay. So, and that's the biggest thing. So we're not afraid to fail. And if we do, we make it seem like it's not such a big thing because we just keep going. And when we keep going, it looks like we've made it easy, but really it's a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears behind it. Honestly, it is. We just don't make it look that way because we keep going and we don't dwell on those failures. We learn from them, absolutely learn from them, but then we just keep moving. And I think it's so important we really lean on each other for that motivation. And, it's not funny, but it is true what they say about, people who have businesses and are a married couple. It's like, you really lean on each other, and who you pick as your partner in life and in business is so important.
Probably one of the most important things of all. And the thing is that most of us aren't really taught in school how to do that. You kind of just stumble upon somebody, right? I would say, and not really being strategic about that. And I mean, just if you want to elaborate more, if it was your case or that you were actually more aware as to who were you picking as a partner, because that is totally what you're saying is totally true. Not having your partner, in the same frequency, it's a recipe for disaster.
Right, because you want to come home to that person or that business partner and talk to them about what happened and what you did wrong. And you want their advice and their opinion. And if their opinion and their advice is always positive, you've picked the right partner. You've picked someone who really has your back and really wants to see you succeed. And that's just so important. I mean, I've always said this, when we were together, we were in high school, we were young, but I think we were our vision was pretty much the same. Like we needed to, go on to bigger and better things. We loved where we came from. We loved where we lived and we loved our families. But it's just like, we've got to take that risk and see what's on the other side, for not only for us and our families back at home, but for our future family, our future children. And taking that risk, that first step, I will say this over and over again, is so difficult. But once you do, you will be so happy that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that you can identify today as you took these different steps, because you're always trying to get that next level of mindset in business. So it's a never ending, right? But there's this magic that does happen as you have a few wins on your belt. Gives you a lot of confidence to continue, to believe more in you and to keep going.
Yes.
And if you look back, Amanda, let's say you look back 5 years, 10 years, however back you want to look, and you can identify and maybe list and share with us some of the things that you had to let go in terms of maybe possessions, maybe places, maybe people, maybe opportunities, maybe jobs, in order to receive the new things that were coming to you. In other words, have to be willing to let go in order to be able to receive. Because sometimes the biggest battle is not wanting to let go to a place where you grew up, a job that you have, in order to get other things. So what are some of the things you had to let go in order to receive the new things that you, if you can recall some of these?
I love this because letting go is like up-leveling yourself, okay? Mm-hmm. This is the biggest thing. Now, for the fall, this is my mantra right now, is leveling up. So in order to level up, yes, you have to let go of, people who do not believe in you, people who do not see your vision, people who are talking about you, saying whatever they say about you to other people. You have to let go of these things. And you also have to let go of that little voice inside your head telling you you can't do it. When you hear that little voice inside your head telling you can't do it, write down, yes, I can. Because when you write it down and see it, you will change your mindset. You will change that. And always, another thing I want to mention is being unapologetically you. Okay. So that's another thing that I'm also working on too. As I'm growing and getting older and my kids are getting older, it's like, you really just have to be yourself. Okay. And
you can't really hide it, right? Like sometimes you want to be politically correct or act in a certain way. You're talking about authenticity.
Yes. Being yourself is hard. And taking that mask off and just being who you are is so important. And once you know who you are, where you're going, where you've been, and what you've experienced, the sky is the limit. Okay. It really is, if you think about it. So that is my whole mindset for the fall is, I'm just going to do what I want to do within the boundaries, of course, but I'm not going to apologize for doing it because this is who I am and this is who I've always been and no one can tell me different. Okay. But of course, within the boundaries, I'm talking about.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, absolutely. It's like we talk about, it's almost like those things where they say break some rules, just don't break the laws and
right.
type of things.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. So that's where I really feel that is important. And of course, having that strong group of people who are with you, who are willing to help you. I mean, even if it's a friend, or a family member willing to take your kid to school so you can, get on your mindset and get your everything correct for the day. So you have that, 15 minutes to write that down and to think about what you're going to do for the day while your friend, takes your kid to school or your family member. That's awesome. That's helping. I mean, even those small little things that you think are not really that big, they're so big, Even like, I'll call a friend of mine, can you pick up my kids from school and just take them to your house for 30 minutes while I, just finish writing what I'm going to do for the rest of the evening, or, I want to respond to these emails. I mean, even that little help is amazing. And if you can find that group, that little tribe that's behind you, I mean, that's
absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas that just came to my mind as I hear you say these things, and hard to even pick that they're all good. But I want to go back and talk about that transformation that you've gone through, because I think it's so important people know you cannot get what you're wishing to get just by wishing, but you have to become a new you. And
Right.
to that it's again goes back to leaving things behind. Like, here's the thing that I could bring as an example. I would rather die than speak in public, right? I knew that to get the next level, I have to master that.
Right.
I needed to be a little bit more like consistent in what I do. I needed to really be, what's the word? Like, not, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I said I'm going to do it, like these sort of values, I can point to a few, like say, if I want to be physically good, we're body first, like certain mentalities. So I can identify some things that are so different from Mauricio today that were not 5 or 10 years ago. Like, and so I'm wondering if you can also share some of the things that you can point to what has delivered you to where you are today. I mean, you share some of them. I want to see if I can extract a little more from you to see maybe you're a little more disciplined in some areas. So there's some specific abilities, because obviously just getting on camera and going on TV, it's not like you just, you go and do it. Like even this podcast, it required a little, preparation and having certain abilities to learn how this camera works here and there. It's like everything you want, I think, like what I'm trying to get confirmation from you is like everything we want is only as far as the next ability we need to master to get it, right? But it's all about those abilities.
It really is. And, I will say this over and over. I mean, taking that first step is just amazing, because, my goal was to get a communications degree from Texas State University. And I did that. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with that. I thought I was going to go into advertising. I thought I was going to possibly go into public relations. And, thinking about it took me at least a couple years to really say, there is a need to get information out to the people who don't have information about our law firm, so that's where I said, Brad, we really should, reach our community, our Hispanic community, because they really need the information. And I said, and I feel like they are the group that, gets taken advantage of the most because they don't have access to information. So that's when I said, let's do this, let's get out there and let's just do a couple of public service announcements about basically driving safety and, don't text and drive. I said, let's get that out there so that people have that information. And, if something were to come up and they do have, for example, a car accident, they can call us because they know they've seen us before. They've seen the name. We're a trusted source. We're local. We're in the community. We believe in our community, and, they will see that. And that's so important to give information like that out. And he looked at me and he said, that's such a great idea. He said, because it gets all of the things that you've always wanted to do. You've always wanted to, be out there front and center, but also go out and be a part of the community and help people that need our help. So many people don't have access to information. Even as there's different events that I go to, as far as like the Latina Day ATX or the Austin Women's Magazine Leveling Up event that I'm going to in a couple of weeks. I mean, these events are so important and people don't know about them. Mm-hmm. They don't know about them. And once they figure out and find out about them, then they get that stepping stone. And they want to take that risk, and they want to, help their community, and they want to get involved and pursue their passion and go for it in starting their own business. So that's where I kind of channeled my whole idea of using my degree and getting involved.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that. I find that a lot of businesses and even people that today genuinely go out with this attitude of just providing value to their community have so much success. Even if you don't have to sell nothing, it's like they're just going out there providing the information. But ironically, they sell the most because they give so much, right? They give out so much in information, right? Time, and so that's a very important message for anybody looking to.
Also, it's not always so much like with, I sit on these community boards, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I didn't get started just going in and sitting on a community board. I started volunteering at these organizations because it created a network. So I was able to meet other volunteers who also had the same passion that I had. And it just so happens I met a woman who is in public relations. I got her information. I used her as a source just for advice, just for advice. That's all. Or someone that I wanted to vent to and say, I have this idea. What do you think? Someone that I wanted an opinion from. I mean, you really do meet people when you get involved with your community. So you're also helping those who need help, but you're also getting back that help.
Oh, I love it. I love it because, I always tell people, like, the environment that you are surrounded by is who you are.
Right.
Like, that is going to convert you. And so when you go out there and you intentionally look to get to, meet the people that can get you to where you want to go. Because, they always say, and this is so true, you're one person away from changing your life.
Exactly.
Forever. One person away. So showing up, like being intentional to going out there and showing up. That's why, it's important for our community to know that, listen, go to these networks, go to these motivational things, go where these people are trying to achieve these higher levels of success. Go to the places where the people that you wish that you could become are providing their value. Sure, buy their courses, invest in you. Most people trying to find, most people trying to find like what's the hot stock, what's the investment. Even me being in the industry, people always ask me like, what's the best place I can invest in? I'm like, well, first it's in you.
Right.
that has always yielded the highest return. It's like invest in you. It'll get you more than any other thing. And I love what you're saying. It's like you're showing up, you're doing all these things, you're volunteering. Eventually, you're going to find the people that can take you to where you want to go. And then when you all of a sudden you wake up and you'll find yourself surrounded in this new sort of network and community you've built around by having that mindset of going out and just giving to the community and adding value. I love what you're saying. That's really what it takes. It's really what it takes. And then you find yourself in exploring other minds that are a lot more experienced, and then they see your passion and they want to bring you along.
Right.
I mean, that's sort of what happens naturally, but you have to be intentional about it.
Exactly. They do bring you along. And a lot of them are like, they're willing to mentor you because they're sitting, on these boards, and they are pillars in the community, and they are willing to mentor you. And that's amazing. That is the best thing. But going back to where you're saying investing in you, when I was in college, I always thought about that because, of course, my parents, couldn't afford to send me to college. So I was getting student loans. And I always thought that to myself. I'm like, okay, I'm getting this loan, but I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in my future. I'm investing in my career. And I had to have that mindset because otherwise I would cry, every time.
No, absolutely. You'll just see those balances go up and up and up, right?
Yeah, and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? But in the end, it's so worth it because you have invested in yourself. And you've made yourself better. And that's just so important. I mean, just for all around success.
No, I understand. And listen, if you don't make the sacrifice, like if you don't, what's the price? Like, what's the price of not paying the prices?
Right.
What you want becomes the sacrifice. If you don't, exactly. It's like, that's why it's so important to speak about these things. And so finally, how do you, obviously you're a wife, you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're a philanthropist, you're doing all these things. And if there's anybody right now basically saying, well, I have no time, I don't have time, I can't, and sort of just be in the comfort, how can we inspire them? Like, you're doing all these different things. I'm sure it's not easy.
No.
But what sort of the disciplines, or maybe not discipline, well, maybe part of the discipline, but the strategy that you apply to be able to do so many different things?
Ask for help. Ask for help. That is the biggest thing. I think that Hispanic women, especially Hispanic women, they don't want to ask for help because they're so prideful that they can do it themselves. But I was like that in the beginning, especially when I had my children, and especially when Brad and I were here late nights, at 9 o'clock at night, still working and putting things together. I really asked for help, and I delegated tasks to people to help me. And I know some people would say, oh, well, she's, pushing too much on me, or she's doing this. You have to ask for help in a nice, graceful way. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's important too, because your delivery is everything.
Yeah. It's in the how. Right. It's in the how.
And I really, just anything of asking for help, and always definitely taking care of yourself first. I know this is hard for us. Okay. As women in general, we do not take care of ourselves first. But remember, when you're on an airplane, what do they tell you when you have a small child? Yeah. And take the oxygen mask first on yourself, and then assist your child. Well, if you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to be able to assist anybody or help anybody. So I'm a big believer in that. And, always be supportive of your partner, your business partner, your partner in life. Be supportive and be a shoulder that they can cry on, and vice versa. And if you don't have that partnership, that is not going to work for you. You need to move on from that.
I have this suspicion, and just to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
Is that, they say it takes two to tango. Mm-hmm. That's sort of like a slang, right? It takes two to tango. I've noticed, right, that in my house, like I adopted this idea of body first. So what I try to do every morning, no matter what, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, just make sure that I'm doing a few push-ups like that. I'm doing that. But when
Right.
you take the lead on that, your partner will see that, and it's easier for them to sort of follow along. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes the leadership of one,
Mm-hmm.
right, to be able to motivate the other. Um,
Right.
and as they look at you doing things to improve, that's sort of what I've seen, and vice versa. I've seen my wife take some, the leadership in some other spaces, and I sort of follow her in terms of she does a lot of research in terms of how to better communicate with the children. Like
Right.
I have this way that I've learned from my grandparents and grandparents, and how do you speak to your children? Like how do you
Mhm.
educate them and put them on the right path? And she's like, no. This is sort of the way that you're doing it. So she takes that sort of leadership role, and then I think about it and then make that changes. But it took her to lead the way for me to then follow. So I do believe that it doesn't necessarily all the time need to be a perfect fit in terms of couples, but
Right.
it takes one to tango, or takes one to begin the dance. Like
Right.
it takes one to lead it, and the other one could eventually follow. At least try that before you maybe say that's not going to work out. So
Right.
that's it,
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with that. But I do believe in that. I believe if you have that support system, God, you can do
absolutely,
anything. You can do
that's so true.
anything.
Because you don't go at the speed of two. Like if you're going, and then it's not like when you have your partner, it's like you 10x it, you 100x it instead of just times two.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so that's why I like you're saying with so much excitement. It's like that is the key. I tell you that I know exactly what you're talking about, because that
And
is so
even your
so
business
important.
partners too. Your business partners
So
are
true.
so important. Whoever you decide to go into it with business. I mean, they are accountable just as you are accountable. So you have to work together to make it happen. And sometimes those partnerships break, and there's probably a break in communication, or there's probably a break in support. Though that's why you've got to communicate with each other and make sure that it happens and
That's
you're
so
on the
key.
same page.
It's at the end of the day, so much has lies in the ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's so critical. Now we could spend another 30 minutes just on that. So I'm sure I'll invite you back to talk about how to deal with partners in business and emotional intelligence and all the other stuff, which is
Oh,
critical. It's key.
that is key.
Uh,
That
because
is key.
man, we when you're not aware of it, that you make permanent decisions on a temporary state of feeling, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're regretting it forever. You're like, you should have handled it this way. It's like you can't take it back. And anyways, that's a bunch of other stuff there.
No,
But
I know. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you.
100%. There's just no way to not learn as you take aggressive action, immediate action.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you could confirm in wrapping up now for real is that it really just takes, like I said, that first action. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just go
Right.
for it. Go for it. Yeah, right? Just
Do it.
make it
Just
happen.
do
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Of course,
very
within the
good.
boundaries,
No,
like
I understand. That's absolutely right. I understand that. So, Amanda, thank you so much again for chatting with us about that. I'm sure that more than one person will be inspired by your story,
I hope so.
and they'll go out there and pursue their dreams to conquer whatever it is that they want to do. Te mando un abrazo allá
Gracias. Un
hasta
abrazo
el
fuerte.
grande estado de Texas, and I'm sure we'll be participating and collaborating in other things. All right, take care.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Bye. So
Bye-bye.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure you got a lot of golden nuggets from this conversation. As always, I say make sure that you share and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We'll provide you Amanda's information in here somewhere while you're watching this interview for you to follow her work. Maybe even send her a message. Let her know, what were the things that you learned about our talk today. And we're committed to bringing you more stories of the people that are out there making things happen. But with that being said, I have I can only add that I wish that you have a great rest of the week. We'll see you on the next interview. Take care. Bye-bye.